man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. This quote, attributed to the French writer André Gide, sets the tone for what lies ahead, a journey into the psychological seas that many modern men are afraid to navigate. In the mid-20th century, Swiss psychologist Marie-Louise von Franz noticed a troubling trend. Many adults, both men and women, seemed emotionally and psychologically stuck. They had the appearances of grown-ups, but their inner world was still that of adolescence. They avoided responsibility, struggled with independence, and clung to the comforts of immaturity. Von Franz believed this was more than a personal issue. It was a cultural crisis. So pressing, in fact, that in 1959, she gave a series of lectures about it, calling it the psychology of the Puer Aeternus, Latin for eternal boy. Originally, this term came from mythology. It described a child god, forever youthful, like Peter Pan, never aging, never changing. But von Franz's mentor, Carl Jung, saw a deeper meaning. He believed the Puer Aeternus symbolized a psychological pattern, someone who, even into adulthood, refuses to grow up. In one of her lectures, von Franz put it this way: the Puer Aeternus is the person who remains too long in adolescent psychology. That is, all those characteristics that are normal in a youth of 17 or 18 are continued into later life, coupled in most cases with too great a dependence on the mother. She predicted this pattern would only grow worse with time. And looking at today's world, her prediction was right. More and more young men in the Western world are struggling, not just academically or financially, but socially, spiritually, and emotionally. They live at home into their late 20s or 30s. They retreat into digital fantasies, video games, online porn, or endless scrolling, instead of facing the real-world challenges of becoming a man. They're not evil, they're not lazy, but they are lost. They drift, not toward anything meaningful, but away from the hard work of growth. Their lives revolve around short-term pleasure instead of long-term purpose. And that's why some psychologists now say, this isn't just a personal issue. It may be the defining neurosis of our time. But here's the good news. It's not permanent. The rest of this video, and this series, is a path forward. To understand why so many grown men today feel stuck, like they're not really adults inside, we need to look at something deeper: the mother complex. Psychologist Marie-Louise von Franz said it clearly. A man with a mother complex is at risk of becoming a Peter Pan type, someone who never fully grows up. So what is this mother complex? Think about it like this. When we're little, it's usually our mum who's there the most, feeding us, hugging us when we cry, making sure we're safe. That closeness is powerful, and it leaves a deep emotional mark even when we grow up. Psychologists call this a complex, meaning it's a pattern that lives deep inside us and can affect us even when we don't realize it. Author James Hollis explains it like this: a child's experience of the mother becomes a powerful, emotional memory that the conscious mind can't fully control. Now, fathers usually play a different role. The healthy father is supposed to guide us, challenge us, and help us become more independent, someone who can step into the world on their own. But here's the problem. In today's world, that kind of strong, present father is becoming rare. In the past, especially in traditional cultures, boys became men through very specific rites of passage, ceremonies that helped them separate from their mothers and step into adulthood. These weren't just fun traditions, they were intense, even scary. Anthropologist Mircea Eliade described it like this: boys were taken from their mothers, sometimes in the middle of the night, and put through a symbolic death and rebirth. It told them, you can't stay a child forever. After this symbolic death, they were taught the tribe's wisdom, sent into nature to survive alone, and only welcomed back once they'd proven themselves. From that point on, they were adults, expected to act like it. Today, none of that. No rituals, no community elders, no clear sign that you've grown up. And many boys just never make the jump. They grow up physically, but emotionally, they stay stuck. That bond with their mother, loving but overly close, never loosens. Without a strong father or a community to help them cut the cord, many stay in a kind of emotional limbo. Does this remind you of someone? Maybe a man who avoids real responsibility, doesn't want to move out, or constantly chooses comfort over growth. You're not imagining it. This is more common than we like to admit. And next, we'll look at what happens when that mother-son bond becomes too much. And the mother turns into what Jung called the devouring mother. Let's talk about something that happens quietly in many homes, but leaves lasting scars. The rise of the devouring mother. What happens when the father is physically or emotionally absent? The mother steps in to fill the gap. She becomes more protective, more involved, more in control. At first it looks like love, but over time it becomes something else. You see, when a mother doesn't feel supported by her partner, when she's emotionally hungry, she might turn to her child to meet those emotional needs. Not on purpose, not with bad intentions, but it happens. This is how the devouring mother is born. She's the one who can't let go. She hovers. She decides everything. She smothers the child, not with cruelty, but with love that's too much, too controlling. Carl Jung described this toxic bond as a secret conspiracy between mother and son, where both betray life. In other words, the son clings to the mother to avoid the world, and the mother clings to the son to avoid her own emptiness. Together they stay stuck. Now imagine the result. A boy who never had the chance to stand on his own. He never got to fail, never made hard decisions, never had to fix his own mistakes. So when he becomes an adult, he's not ready. He might look grown up, but inside, he's fragile. Life feels too hard, too risky. He avoids struggle. Instead of facing discomfort, he looks for comfort. Sometimes in women, sometimes in addictions, sometimes in virtual worlds that don't ask anything of him. And what's really going on? He hasn't left his mother, at least not emotionally. He's still looking for someone to protect him, feed him, tell him he's special. Carl Jung said this leads to a dangerous state called a spirit of regression. A kind of inner sleep, where the man avoids growth, avoids life, and just wants to be wrapped up, cared for, and swallowed by something bigger. He seeks, as it were, the protecting, nourishing circle of the mother, the condition of the infant, released from every care. Carl Jung. The world disappears for him. There's no drive to create, to lead, to risk, to become. And in our next part, we'll explore what can be done. How can someone break free from this emotional prison? Is there a way back to independence, strength, and maturity? Stay with us. So what now? If someone grows up with a strong mother complex and an absent father, are they doomed to stay trapped in this state forever? No. But escaping it requires something rare today: conscious effort and real discomfort. Carl Jung believed that the path to maturity, the true path of individuation, requires one to leave the mother's emotional circle and go through life's fires. It doesn't mean rejecting your mother or blaming her. It means becoming fully yourself. And that's terrifying, because it means taking responsibility for your life, your failures, and your growth. It means learning how to suffer productively, not numbing yourself with video games or shallow pleasures, but choosing to face the fear, loneliness, and uncertainty that real growth demands. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, Jung said, but by making the darkness conscious. That's the journey, to turn and face the shadows inside yourself, your dependence, your passivity, your fear, and to walk through them anyway. Here's what that might look like in real life. You stop blaming your parents. You accept what they couldn't give you. You take ownership of your finances, your relationships, your health. You choose a path, even if it's uncertain, and you commit to it. You build discipline through action, not through waiting for motivation. It's not instant. And it's not easy, but it's the only way. Because here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. Not your mother. Not a woman. Not society. You are the one who must walk out of the psychological womb. The boy must die so the man can be born. And once he is, he can love not as a child needing comfort, but as a man capable of giving it. So ask yourself, have you left the comfort of childhood? Or are you still hoping the world will carry you? Have you stepped into the wilderness of life? Or are you still waiting for permission? The spirit of the eternal boy isn't evil. It's afraid. But you don't have to stay afraid. You can begin today. Take the first step.